there YouTube, what is going on? So something a little bit different today. Not too long ago I bought a replica batarang off the Wish app. This thing right here. Picked it up for, I think it was about 22 bucks. It was really cheap, but it's really good. Like, it's got a solid weight to it, really good craftsmanship. And I went looking online because I thought, I really want to display this thing properly. And everywhere I looked, all the batarang display stands were just way too expensive or just didn't look quite right. So I suddenly had this idea in my mind of doing something that was kind of Batcave-inspired, using rocks, like black rocks, and putting them all together and, making something that looked kind of cool, something like it was straight out of the Batcave. Anyway, I went out and bought a whole bunch of things to do this, and it cost me less than $20 for everything. And I put together a display stand and I thought it looked really good. But then a friend of mine, one of the biggest fans of my channel, Jenny, and a big thank you as always to you, she commented on how she also has a batarang and was quite jealous of my display stand. And so I was like, well, you know what? Because you're such an awesome fan, I'm gonna make you one. And not only that, I can do like a little how-to video. So if anyone out there has bought one of these batarangs and they want to make a display stand for under 20 bucks and really quite easy to do, I'm about to show you how to do it. Okay, so we're now in my kitchen, and the reason being because the base of the display stand, I find the best thing to actually make that out of is a Chinese food takeaway container lid, which, let's face it, every single house out there has about 285,000 of these, roughly. So yeah, when I had the idea for this thing, I was like, well, I need something to glue the rocks onto. And yeah, since I got about 285,000 of them, I thought, well, I'm not going to miss one. So basically step one is just simply to cut the rim off it. You can insert a joke about doing a rim job here if you want, like, hey, that's a nice rim job you've done on your lid there, or something. Yeah, but anyway, so basically you just cut around. It doesn't have to be too specific because you don't really see the lid as such once this thing is done. And voila, there we go. At the end, yeah, just gotta, just keep the same size basically, or you can make a smaller one if you need to. You can cut it however you like, but anyway, that is what you end up with. Alright, so once you got the base for your display stand, obviously you will be requiring your batarang because you're gonna have to test it out as you're going along to make sure that it stands there. I do apologize about the awful backlight right now. I know that's not very professional of me, but yeah, I figured most of it's going to be focused on here anyway. So as far as what you need for this, well, you need rocks like these. Yeah. So I picked up these from a local hardware store for about $8 for a huge bag. I think it was like a 1.5 kilo bag of rocks. Whatever type of rocks you want to use, just, yeah, go ahead, like just whatever suits your style, whatever you want to do. Aside from that, the only other things you'll need is some really strong glue. I got this Selly's Power Grip. Yeah, this one that's not focusing, but anyway. Yeah, you basically just need something that's like super adhesive because they're rocks. Yeah, like collectively they weigh a bit. So you want to make sure you got something that's going to really hold them together well. And of course the only other thing you need is black spray paint, because once you put this all together, you're going to want to be painting the thing. So yeah, my bag of rocks here was about $8. My spray paint I think was around about $8 something as well. Glue is only a few dollars, so yeah, all up, this is going to cost you less than $20 to make. Right, so now step one is, well, basically going through and, finding your best rocks. And I definitely recommend putting these together first in a sort of a loose kind of a way, just so you can get an idea of exactly what it's going to, how everything's going to fit together. Because if you just go ahead and just glue a whole bunch of rocks together, you might not end up getting exactly what you want. Like, some of the rocks might not fit together. So yeah, I would start by going through and pretty much picking out like your biggest rocks, sort of the best looking ones, and yeah, just go through and put them all together. Alright, so I'll just bring this down here a little bit. So yeah, I'm sort of thinking that looks pretty good for a base. Like, I've covered most of the plastic up and everything seems to fit together. So yeah, from here I'll just glue it all together and then work my way up. Because yeah, obviously with this thing we're going to be going up so the batarang can sit on it. So yeah, this will just be like the foundation for the rocks, the Wayne foundation if you will. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I did pick some really strong glue. Also keep some napkins on standby to wipe the glue thingy off. And yeah, here we go. We just sort of start from the first one and make our way around, just glue all these things together. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be some people out there who are like fanatical about, you know, make sure you like wash the rocks or something and make sure they're dust free so the glue will stick better and all that. I'm just one of these lazy people who I just want to do it now. So I'm just gluing them. I don't even care. Alright, so that one was kind of stuck. Just gluing the rocks. And it doesn't hurt as well just to like throw some glue out down between the rocks as well. Don't just glue them to the thing. You kind of want to glue them all together as well. So, you know, just go absolutely nuts with the glue. Because another thing to keep in mind as well is that you're going to be painting over these rocks, so yeah, if there's any like glue residue or whatever, you're probably not really going to see it. So yeah, just go to town, just glue. This glue is actually like seriously running free from the tube right now, so yeah, I'm just putting it pretty much everywhere. And so that is our base all done. So yeah, I'm gonna let the glue dry for a little while before I get onto the next layer of rocks. But yeah, we're actually almost nearly there already. Alright, so welcome back to part 2 of the video. A little bit of time has passed now. I have let the glue dry on this thing. And yeah, it seems to be quite well stuck together now. So the next step is to build this up so we get a bit of a support for the actual batarang. So let's get to it. So the next part of this is pretty simple. It's just a matter of building the rocks up. Yeah, and finding a couple of rocks as well that will be good to use to kind of support the batarang in a way. There's a few different ways you can do it really. I mean, the way that I did it with my previous one is just to kind of have a couple of tall rocks behind the batarang to kind of hold it there, but yeah, you could make a couple of grooves or just, yeah, I don't know, just whichever way you feel like doing it. Alrighty, so yeah, like I said, it's just a matter of just gluing a whole bunch of rocks in here. So we're just going to plop a bunch of glue down and stick rocks in there. Yeah, easy. So once you've got like a bit of a foundation, once you've sort of built some rocks up and everything, it's just important to kind of keep an eye on it, like, so when you put the batarang down, it's going to be level. So like at the moment, that's looking pretty good. So what I basically want to do once these rocks have dried is build it up from behind and put some rocks there to hold it in place. So I've selected a couple of fairly kind of flat rocks that I can use as a backing support. Yeah, it's just a matter of keeping on building it up so you kind of I don't know, just making something cool and having some support for the batarang. Right, so I've just built these two sides up a little bit more, and every time I put the batarang down now, like, yeah, it's nicely supported on there. So I think all I've really got to do is just get these rocks behind it here on the back, and it should be pretty good. Alright, so here's how it's looking at the moment. So yeah, I've just freshly glued these rocks up the back there. Yeah, so you can kind of tell like how it's going to support the batarang, and those rocks at the back will be holding it up. So next thing is just to let this one dry, and then we'll paint her up. And welcome back. We are now on day 2 of this little project because, yeah, I've decided to do this one properly, and I actually left it overnight for the glue to set, which is something I don't ordinarily do because I'm a really impatient person, and I think with my display stand, I just pretty much glued it all together and went and painted it straight away, and yeah, as a result, occasionally a rock will fall off. But this one actually looks pretty good. It looks like it's in, yeah, pretty decent condition. Like all the rocks seem to be really well stuck together. So without further ado, it is now time to paint it black. Yeah, so after rummaging through my garage, which is at best, let's just say an adventure. Yeah, I've got a can of cheap spray paint here. I'm going with a gloss black. There you go, gloss black. Yeah, just because, I don't know, it kind of gives it an interesting shine to it. Like, yeah, I mean, it's totally up to you what sort of black you want to go for, whether it be a matte black or a gloss black or I don't really know much about spray paint. I don't know what other sorts of paints there are, but I got this one. It's a bit exciting. And of course I have set out a piece of cardboard to do the painting on, which my cat is now inspecting. Yeah, she's finished. She's done a good job. I guess the only thing with the painting process is just to make sure that the paint goes all around it nice and evenly, because yeah, sometimes you might end up with a couple of little spots that you missed or whatever. So yeah, just make sure you do a nice even coat all around. Alright, well that pretty much takes care of the painting process, so yeah, I'm going to leave that to dry. Once again, I'm probably going to leave it overnight because, yeah, I want this to look really as best as it possibly can. So yeah, I'm not going to rush into it. I'm going to do a good job, and I'll let that paint dry overnight, and we'll see what it looks like tomorrow. Alright, so it is not quite tomorrow yet. It's actually, I don't know, I think about 7 hours since I painted the thing. And yeah, I've had it sitting outside in the sun and everything, so the paint's actually dried pretty well, and I gotta admit, I am really happy with how this one turned out. Yeah, really, this one I think has actually turned out probably even a little bit better than the one that I initially made for myself. I just think the batarang actually kind of fits better on the stand. Yeah, with mine, I don't know, you kind of got to balance it. It's a little bit tricky, but yeah, this one, it actually fits really well. So I am very happy with how this one turned out. Alright, so there you go. That is how to make a Batcave-inspired batarang stand for under $20. So yeah, if you guys have picked up a batarang and you're looking for a cheap alternative to the really expensive stands that are out there at the moment, yeah, that's a really simple way. And like, I seriously know nothing about, you know, sort of home crafts and stuff. Like, I know there's hot glue guns and there's all sorts of things like that. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of better ways to do it, but yeah, this was just using really basic rudimentary stuff. So yeah, and they turn out really good. I'm very happy with how mine and Jenny's turned out. So Yeah, next step is to make sure I pack it nicely to send it off to the US, and that is seriously all I have to say. So yeah, I hope this gave you some ideas. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you by chance actually do end up making one of these, feel free to head over to my Twitter page or anywhere and yeah, share some photos with me. I'd love to see some of you guys, like what you've made, like some of your own designs. So yeah, all the social media links are in the description below, so pop on over, come and say hi, subscribe to my channel, plenty of movie reviews coming and all that sort of stuff, and I will see you next time.
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now, so what have you got to lose? Nyah.